Well, we made it, everyone. 4 weeks of Physics 101 contest coverage done. Now, I and everyone here at Storm want to thank you, all that out there that participated from the interweb. I had over 4,000 questions sent to my inbox, and I wish I had all the time to answer them, but I would never be able to go home again. But on a positive note, I have some more questions to answer, some more free stuff to give away, so let's get right into it. So the first question, the first winner this week of the Atomic Core is Richard Jenkins from Las Vegas, Nevada. He asks, what's the difference between a symmetrical and an asymmetrical bowling ball? Now, to the naked eye, there may not appear to be that much of a difference, but the reality is there is. Now, it's very important to remember that every ball becomes asymmetrical when you introduce a hole to it, some more than others. Now, a symmetrical has a high RG axis and a low RG axis, which gives it a differential or a difference in the height versus the width of the core. But the difference between the width and the depth, there honestly isn't anything. So if I take this symmetrical core and I spin it all the way around, its mass is equally distributed as I look at its equator. Now, that's what defines a symmetrical bowling ball. Now, an asymmetrical core has the same geometries, but the RG values between the Y and Z axes differ by more than 5% of the total differential, which gives them a third core value, and that's known as the PSA, or the preferred spin axis. Now, as such, the symmetrical balls only have 2 ball motion tuning parameters in the layout progression, and that is the pin to pap distance and the pin buffer, or whether it's pin up versus pin down. Now, asymmetricals add a third component to the layout equation, and that is the PSA to pap distance. Now, the higher the undrilled intermediate differential is of that bowling ball, the more significant the PSA placement becomes in the layout. So great question, Richard. Thank you for sending it in. Okay, so this next question actually ties in perfectly with the first question, and it's one of the most misunderstood topics today, which is why I chose to answer it. And it comes from Mike Postinger of Taylor, Michigan, and he asks, at what PSA to pap distance do asymmetrical balls roll noticeably different than symmetrical? Now, I briefly spoke about the pin to pap distance and the pin buffer, but the PSA to pap distance needs to be thought of as the more fine-tuning parameter of the bunch. Now, this is all a lot easier to understand if you think of the PSA as just another axis that travels straight through every asymmetric part. Now, we need to use this in the same manner that we do the pin to pap distance because the physical location of the PSA in relation to the PAP gives the most accurate results, and because it takes the internal shape into account better than any other layout method out there, and here is why. A pin that's 0 inches or on the positive axis point is an extremely early rolling and stable position for the core to be in, and so is the 6 3/4 inches away from the pap. It's tumbling, but it's also very stable. Now, a PSA that's on the pap is in a very stable position, just as the 6 3/4 inches away from the positive axis point. Now, anything in between for either of these values creates a greater imbalance. But the location of the PSA fine-tunes the breakpoint shape for an asymmetrical bowling ball. Longer distances give you a sharper breakpoint, and shorter distances give you a smoother breakpoint shape. But if you're going to remember one thing, remember this. Your PSA to pap distance is most effective at 2.5 to 4.5 inches from your positive axis point. They're going to transition quickly, flare more, and react stronger down lane. All right, everyone, it's time for the grand prize winner of our last physics ball giveaway in our Atomic Core. So congratulations to George Dakota from Green Bay, Wisconsin. And he asked one great question. He says, how far will technology go in the future in regards to making bowling balls? Well, George, the sky's the limit, and here's why. Storm's founders literally paved this generation's way by hand. The first cover stocks were mixed in a KFC bucket with a paint stick. The first master weight block designs were sculpted from wood, PVC pipe, and a very early generation of urethane. And these models became the basis that hundreds of thousands of weight blocks were poured from. Flash forward a few years, and we've now brought CAD imaging, or computer-aided design, in-house. We now have the ability to create RGs, differentials, and intermediate splits better and more accurately than ever before. So technology is always getting better, and quite frankly, so should we. It isn't just our job here to put Storm at the forefront of technology. It's our responsibility as the industry leader and to usher the sport into a new era. With that, we are very excited and proud to announce that Storm Products is the first bowling ball manufacturer in the world to introduce 3D virtual reality technology into our core design. We now have a tool that's so intuitive it feels invisible, allowing us to focus on what really matters, the creation. Before, modeling 3D objects into 2D space felt very unnatural. Now we can achieve rapid ideation, define issues, and conceptualize a dozen weight blocks in under an hour. This technology corrects your head position and makes it feel like the weight block is right there in front of you. We can literally experience the spatial aspects of a core and reach design decisions at the earliest stage possible before we even consider committing to any physical prototypes. After all, Storm Products is an innovation company who just so happens to make bowling balls. So rest assured, every time you pick up a Storm bowling ball, your investment is backed by countless hours of research, development, and most importantly, passion. And that is what makes us the Bowlers Company. All right, Storm Nation, I gotta tell you, these past 4 weeks have been a blast. I hope you've enjoyed these videos as much as I have making them. And be sure to get out there, and if you haven't experienced a PhysiX yet, go get one, go try it out. I know you'll be impressed and you'll love it. And stay tuned for more great content. Find us on the Tube of You, find us on the Book of Faces, and I'll be seeing you out there in the airwaves, Storm Nation.